everybody is all excited about the fact that Elon Musk is going to be on CNBC. He never goes on CNBC. Now, some people say that like he has an issue or has made statements about CNBC in the past, and he may have. I'm not aware of them, and maybe I'm just forgetting. But in any case, he's going to be on CNBC right after the board meeting. And so, of course, everybody's talking about, is there going to be some really big announcement that CNBC wants to know about? Well, we're going to discuss that. This is Randy Kirk. Hit like if you like this kind of content. And then, of course, even if you don't like it, but you're just entertained by it, go ahead and hit like. And then of course, subscribe and hit notify if you'd like to make sure that you're always told about upcoming programs, because two-a-day, every day, got stuff coming your way. All right. And then love to have some more folks join me on Patreon. It's only $5 a month. All right. Let's move right on to the 10 things. Well, actually, it turns out it's 8 things that I think they are likely to talk about, and then 3 things that they should, but they won't. Okay, so let's take a look. You got a bonus one there, total of 11. All right, number 1, you can be 100% sure that whether or not anything happens tomorrow at the board meeting on the subject of succession, they will still ask Elon Musk about succession. So there are 4 possible things, as the way I see it, that could happen with regard to succession tomorrow. One is, well, one of those is nothing. So they won't mention it. They won't talk about it. Maybe there'll be somebody who will ask about it in the Q&A afterwards, and they will say nothing new to report on succession, or we have a succession plan, but that's all you need to know. So that would be number 1. Number 2 would be, there would be a major piece of news where Elon is stepping down immediately from Techno King, and that somebody else is now going to be the CEO, and that he will be really doing Techno King stuff, the stuff he wants to do. I get it. That's what I wanted to do for my companies. I wanted to do project management, new products, developing new products, the science, the engineering, all that kind of stuff. That's what I wanted to do. That's what he wants to do. But he just doesn't yet trust anybody to do it at Tesla. Trust somebody to do it at Twitter. Trust somebody to do it at SpaceX. Tesla is a much more complex company with way more fun stuff that he still needs to accomplish. So I think that's why he will not announce tomorrow that he is stepping down immediately. Number 3 possibility would be that he's going to step down in 2 years or 5 years, and that they're going to announce that Zach Kirkhorn or somebody else is going to be the heir apparent. They're going to be groomed from now until then. Obviously, Zach has had some great zooming this year. He's been kind of running it for the last 6 or so months, but we'll see. That would be another possibility. It could be that they just announce an heir apparent without any date future. So those are 4 possibilities. Even if they say nothing and they say they're not reporting anything, David Faber's a reporter and he's going to press him on it. Well, shouldn't you have a successor program? Shouldn't you know who the next, shouldn't we know as the community who's going to be taking your place if anything happens to you? And my overall guess is they're going to keep it under wraps, whatever their successor plan is, because there's a lot of reasons why strategically you don't want to do that. Some of those are internal and some of those are external. So you may have internal reasons in terms of not making those kind of announcements, where you don't want to set up a situation where somebody feels as if they have no chance to be in that role in the future. You don't want to have some kind of infighting taking place. And the external reasons, you don't want to let people know your direction. You're not really ready to let them know what Elon's plans are or who might be coming in behind him. Companies do all those things. Every one of those possibilities. I asked ChatGPT. Actually, I didn't. I asked Bard. What do companies do? And Bard told me, no, they do everything, all of the above. But most companies of this size do have a succession plan of some kind. They just don't necessarily talk about it. Okay, number 2, Twitter CEO profits will come up. They'll talk a lot about Twitter. They'll talk about they will talk about the new CEO. They'll talk about some of the negative commentary that's being made with regard to her memberships on with various worldwide organizations that are not the favorites of conservatives. Now, maybe again, CNBC being not conservative, they might not bring up that issue, but they might bring up the fact that she is conservative. And now Elon, who's considered conservative now, and the CEO are both conservative. Isn't that unfair? Doesn't that make it balance? I don't know if that'll come up, but it could. They'll ask about her qualifications, why her, et cetera. Why now? They'll ask about the profits of Twitter, and is that part of the reason? Because they're now going into maybe profits and free cash flow. Is that why the CEO could take over? Or was it serendipitous that he met her when she was interviewing him, and they just hit it off, and he thought that she would just make a great advantage? Now, a lot of the naysayers have been saying, oh, well, Elon realized that he does need the advertisers, and so therefore he needed a strong advertising person to come in and bring those advertisers back. I think that he needs a strong advertising person to bring those advertisers back, whether he thinks he needs advertisers going forward or not. I think that if David Faber is doing his job right, he will ask about the changes in Twitter, the new directions. He'll maybe bring up some of the controversy over the weekend with regard to Turkey and Twitter being willing to not talk about the political statements of the opposition party over the weekend during the elections. You've already heard my answer to that. I think if that's what Turkey wanted, then they should have not allowed any political commentary during that time period. Anyway, they'll probably ask Elon how he came to that conclusion and how he makes those kind of decisions going forward. Now, this depends on how long this interview is. All right, number 4, they will bring up Highland. I think whether or not it's announced, I think there's enough folks talking about Highland, and whether it's going to come out at the end of June, beginning of July, starting in Fremont or Shanghai, what is the order of things? Is it now, a fait accompli, and do we know what it's going to look like? Do we know what it's going to cost? Or was it in fact announced? My belief, my feeling, it's not a belief. I think that tomorrow they will announce the Highland. They might even show it. They might reveal it, drive it around, show some of the features and benefits, take 15 minutes to talk about the Highland. And I believe that it will probably roll out of Shanghai first, Fremont second, and I think it will roll out of Germany maybe 6 months from now. All right, there's my thoughts on Highland, but I think that Faber will announce that. I believe he will bring up AI for sure. I think that the general public right now, their number one thing, their focus is not on green cars. Their focus is not on green energy. Their focus is not on anything else that Tesla's doing. I think their focus right now is on all this AI stuff. Every time I'm in a group, no matter what that group is, what they're talking about is AI. Have you tried ChatGPT? Have you tried any of these different plugins now that are available, the different apps that are coming out? Everybody wants to know what you're doing with AI, how it's affecting your job, how it's affecting your career, how it's affecting the future, whether or not it's dangerous. Obviously, Elon is at the top of the question, the top of the experts in terms of the fear of it being dangerous, because he started OpenAI, put up $100 million of his own money to start OpenAI. So they might ask him about that. They might ask him about the ongoing fight now and the possibility of a lawsuit that Elon might sue OpenAI because they basically went with Microsoft, took all that money, and then turned it into a for-profit situation, even though they're still calling themselves substantially nonprofit or something, whatever that means. And I know a lot about nonprofit corporations, so I'm not sure the language that they're using is not familiar to me. So they might talk about those particular fights that are going on. So that would be 4 and 5 on my list. Cybertruck. I'm pretty confident they'll bring up Cybertruck. It's so close. A lot of conversation about Cybertruck right now in the news. So they'll probably want to know. Again, this question will be asked at the question and answer period. People will ask, is it still going to come in September or October? Maybe they'll ask for, could you give us a little more detail about when the reveal will be? Maybe an announcement of the reveal date. And then, of course, David Faber will try to build on that as a good reporter should do. So Cybertruck will be part of it. FSD, It's likely to be part of it. Again, a brand new release just over the weekend, a major step change. According to Elon, could have even been version 12 if it wasn't for the fact that version 12 is being held back because they want that to be the full AI version. So we've got a full AI version coming soon. Anyway, I'm guessing not guessing, I'm almost 100% sure that FSD will be asked about. Now, number 8 becomes one that I think will be asked about, and it might be asked in the combination with the AI discussion. They should ask about Optimus. We haven't heard anything about Optimus for a while. And so if Faber is good at his research, not just reporting, if his research team is really giving him a good list, I think they should include on the list, hey, we haven't heard anything about Optimus in a while. Where are we on Optimus? Is there any news on Optimus? And I don't think that'll come up in the Q&A because it won't be kind of the right place in the Q&A. So it might be something that David Faber brings up. All right, what are 3 things that David Faber should bring up tomorrow, but that he probably will not? Number 1 would be energy, because the energy division over the next 3 to 5 years is going to be equal in at least profits, if not in total volume, to the automotive division. So I would think that David Faber would bring up energy. It's a very big deal. It's creating a lot of activity and again, a lot of profit. I think similarly, I think he should bring up the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act. So hard for me to say it because it makes no sense. The Inflation Reduction Act, I think you should bring it up because in a report I just gave out this week, I showed where Tesla will earn $2 billion in IRA money this year, $6 billion next year. I think it's close to $10 billion the third year. It's big, big money. And no other car company in the United States is going to get a fraction of the amount that Tesla is going to get out of the IRA. A lot of that's going to be coming from their energy division. So I would think David Faber would want to know about that because this is not built into the stock price. And so David Faber, being somebody who's on CNBC, where it's all about stock and about valuation and about the future of Tesla in terms of how we should be looking at it as an investment, energy and IRA should be in there. Anyway, and then finally, I would think if I was David Faber, now this is probably not going to happen, but I'm saying it would be a great piece of news to ask Elon Musk what he thinks about the negative news slant that happens to Tesla and Elon. Why is there so much negative news about Tesla and Elon? Why is it so one-sided? I don't know they've ever done an analysis. I'm going to guess that it's got to be 80-20. I read Apple News every day. I read a couple of different other news feeds. I get lots of news feeds on my email for the different aspects of Tesla and different aspects of Elon Musk's businesses. And I got to tell you, the vast majority of it's negative. So even this last week, we had all that good news on Thursday, only to have the stock beaten down because Wall Street Journal says, oh, Elon might be stepping down. And then everybody and their third cousin brought up the 100 million cars the million cars that are being recalled with an over-the-air update in China. And then there was another piece of bad news. It was all this onslaught of bad news that basically took all the wind out of the fact that the CEO of Twitter had been appointed. So anyway, that would be a great question. I'd love to hear Faber ask that question. I'd love to hear what the response, kind of the dialogue that would take place between Elon Musk and David Faber if he asked that question, or maybe Elon. Elon, if you're listening, see if you could squeeze that in. Say, hey, David, I got one question for you. Would that be okay? How come the news is so slanted against myself and against my companies? Why is that? Why is it so negative? Anyway, that would be a fun ending to the program tomorrow night. Obviously, you want to find out, you want to check out so much going on this afternoon, that you'll want to watch. You've got, at, I think it's 1 o'clock Pacific time, you've got the actual shareholders meeting. Later in the afternoon, you're going to have the Herbert Ong and his bulls are going to be talking about what happened. After that, then you're going to have the CNBC conversation with Elon Musk. And then after all of that, I'm going to wait until all of it's done. So that might be 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern. Then I'll do my analysis of the day. So my episode tomorrow will be really late because I want to get all of that and hear all of it before I do my analysis of the entire day. So there you go. That's what's happening the rest of today. If this was useful to you in any way, shape, or form, hit like, hit subscribe and notify, and then think about supporting the channel. It would be such a help. And just look below and you can find the link to Patreon, where for $5 a month, you can make this, well, it's a ton of fun to do it. If I'm admitting anything, I really enjoy doing it, but it'd be even more fun if it was paying me kind of a normal wage to get it done. Anyway, this is Randy Kirk. It's been great talking to you.
Click the link below to get your paperback, Kindle, or audiobook now.